Good afternoon, Flosstube. My name is Mandy and welcome to my channel all about cross stitch. My pronouns are she, her, and this is Stitches. Say hi. She has been MIA the last couple of videos, so I had to snag her while she was over here because I know people have missed her. Say hi to Carolyn. I promise I haven't been holding her hostage. I've read... Oh, sorry about that. And then I put her down and she knocks into the tripod thingy. So I have been reading comments. I'm bad about responding to people. So thank you so much for, any comments that you've left. I really appreciate it. But my last video, I know Carolyn had commented that we haven't been seeing Stitches much lately. She likes to knock herself out sleeping on the middle of my bed. And so it's, hard to get a sleeping cat up, right? So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy what you see and stick around a little bit. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for all of your great support. So much appreciated. If you are new here, I've been noticing my subscriber count has increased quite a bit lately. So if you came from another channel, feel free to let me know if someone gave you a shout out, gave me a shout out that you were recommended to come over here from another channel. I know Jessie Marie had talked about we were starting a project from Luthien Art Shop in her last video, and so I know I'm pretty sure she had referenced kind of linked my channel in her description box and everything after talking about me. So I'm sure people are probably coming from there. If it's any other channels, please feel free to let me know. I'd like to be able to give proper thanks and everything to anybody who has, shouted me out that I may have missed. So yeah, we've got some good stuff to share today, I think, in my opinion, I guess. Definitely got stitching to share. I've got a tiny bit of haul. Got some pass the stash stuff, if you will. I'll explain that later. And now we've got Stitches getting the zoomies. Haven't seen her in a while, and now you get to see everything, right? So it's been a little bit since I've kind of talked about, who I am and, all that good stuff. So especially since I've had a little bit of that uptick in subscribers. Again, my name is Mandy and I live in Michigan. Have lived here nearly all my life, and I work from home. I've been working from home since, the infamous time that I think we all remember. I've been in my position for 13 years now, but it's been a work from home position since, March 2020, almost 4 years ago. Hard to believe. Part of it is hard to believe that it's already been 4 years. Part of it is like, it's only been 4 years. Like, it's, what's the saying? Time is a construct. And I have a black cat. Her name is Stitches. You can see the shadow at the moment. Yeah. I've been stitching. I learned stitching when I was just a young teen, if even a teenager. I don't even remember. I mean, it was back in the 90s. My mom taught me how to stitch. And, school life got in my way. I, really didn't touch anything for years. And I stitched a wedding gift for my sister back in 2010, but then have really been hardcore since 2011 that I decided to check out a local needlework shop and found a project, and it's been downhill ever since then. I am mainly, it's funny, I want to say that I'm mainly a full coverage cross stitcher, but today I've only got one full coverage. It's a focus piece. My heart of stitching really lies with full coverage. I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. It's the confetti stitching and the way that, all of those color changes can bring something to life. It's an incredible process to me, and that's really been a lot of my focus in my stitching in the last handful of years. So yeah, so that's basically me in a nutshell. I'm a big bookworm, although reading definitely has gone to the back burner, especially with stitching. I am into diamond painting, though my focus this year so far has definitely been on the stitching, and so really haven't touched a whole lot of that lately, but that's okay. Cross stitching is definitely my first love, if you will. So yeah, I think that's kind of about it to share about me. I've been getting into pinball a lot with my sister and her husband, and going to all kinds of pinball tournaments and that, which is kind of funny that to share my first piece of the day kind of leads into arcade, I guess, if you will. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the stitching, shall we? So the first thing that I want to share is a start and a finish. I have signed up for Link is My Homeboy's ATC Swamp, so artist trading card. The project is to be no bigger than a playing card, so about 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And the theme for this particular swamp is the year you were born. So we were basically to find something the year that we were born, you know. I just realized I do not have my iPad ready, so I'll just do that in a minute. So after lots of Googling and trying to figure out what came out in the year I was born, and then what of that translates into being able to cross stitch. And so then I found that Ms. Pac-Man was released in 1982, and so I found a Ms. Pac-Man pattern. So that is my start and a finish. So we've got Ms. Pac-Man being chased by Blinky. And yes, I had to look that up to make sure that I knew I was talking about the right ghost. So yes, the ghosts in Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man have names. I believe I am right in remembering that that is Blinky. So, you know, and I don't even remember where I got this. I know it's on Etsy. Stitch Brewery, maybe, something like that. If I remember, I'll try to put comments in, not comments, but description box with the details. So this was part of a much bigger pattern that had Ms. Pac-Man, all the ghosts. There was one version that had the ghosts, and then another version that was Ms. Pac-Man and the different symbols that you get in the game. The cherries, strawberry, is there a banana? I know there's a pretzel at one point. So there's two different versions. So I just pulled out, I wanted to add in the cherries, but size-wise, it wasn't gonna fit. So, and in the chart, it starts like when you're looking at it, you know, looking left to right, it's Miss Pac-Man, and it's like she's going after the ghosts. But in the game, the only time you want to go after the ghosts is when they're blue. So I switched them around, and so that it's Miss Pac-Man being chased by Blinky. So I will get that sent out. I think next week is when we gotta get those shipped out. And this is where I'm needing my iPad that I forgot to get it set up. This past week there's been news. It's been all over my Instagram, and every time I see something about is just, it breaks my heart. And sometimes I hate the world we live in. The news of Next Benedict, they're passing. It's, you know, children should be able to live, no matter what they're doing, no matter who they are in life, just let them live. And so this has hit a lot of people, and Julia from Julicious, and they've started getting into some of knitting and cross stitch designing. So this is under their knitting company, I guess, if you will. I'll be sure to put everything down below, but it's Knitney Knits and Needlework. So you can find this on Julia's Instagram page. Again, I'll be sure to explain it below. But please let trans children live. And so, of course, the news hit them hard as well, and the way they explained it was poured their heart into the design, and I didn't even think twice. I figured out a company to donate to, not a company, organization to donate to, and Julia sent me the pattern yesterday morning, and I found fabric and got the floss together and started it yesterday. So what they're asking is that, so the post is on, let's see if I can, I don't know that that's going to focus. Again, I'll put it all in the description below. but basically they're asking that you donate to an organization that helps trans children and send a copy of your receipt of that donation to their email, and they'll send you the pattern. There are a number of organizations listed in that post as well if you don't have anybody local. I did some looking online and found a local Michigan organization. What is it? My TV? So My Trans Voice is what it stands for. Is who I found, a company that helps trans children in Michigan. And so I decided to get this started, and I started this yesterday on my break, on my lunch, and put in a couple hundred stitches, stitched on it again last night. This is stitched on a piece of 16 count Fiber on a Whim in Cypress. That's pretty true to color. It has definitely got a bit of a touch of green, kind of gray depending on the light, but there's definitely a touch of green. So I just started working on the black, so that just the top I'll add in the colors and such. And it's about, what was the design size, 65 by 75 I think. Piece is definitely big enough to hold more than this, but we're gonna start here with adding this. I'm loving the modeling on that. So this is my Let Trans Children Live. I had to send that support and get that stitched up. And another piece that I've been working on, I just picked this up last night for a little bit. It is from Emma Congdon, Cross Stitch for the Soul. Doesn't really have a name, but like in my notes, I always just kind of label it as When It Rains. I love this design. I've been stitching on this, gosh, it's probably been a couple years now. Not all that far along, but when it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. Love the saying, it's so sweet. So I picked this up for Laura Stitching by the Shores I Spy challenge in her Facebook group. And so the option, or the prompt was something sweet, and it's that saying that has it for me. So here we are. This is stitched on a piece of 16 count color and cotton in Ozark, I think is what it is. So last night I picked it up just for a couple hours, if that, I think, and I got in When It, and then, so I'm really wanting to get this middle portion stitched up. There's going to be some little swirly doodads right in here. Stitches is chasing her tail. Before then I can come back down and move down. So luckily that cloud is all stitched up. That was a nice little zoom stitching that I had a while ago. When I've shown this last time, I had that all done. So literally just last night I put in When It. 2 different shades of gray. Hopefully getting back to this probably at least for a little while tonight again to try to get some more added to it. So that is my Emma Congdon. I love this needle minder. This is probably one of my favorite needle minders. It's Ariel with tattoos, because why not? Back to the iPad again. I had shown this the last time that I was working on it, and worked on it again that evening, the day of my last Flosstube, which was 2 weeks ago today. So definitely good little progress to share. But this is Grief Knows No Bounds. This is designed by the Stitchers for Peace Initiative. I was going to get those words mixed up. So this is designed by Michelle Bendy Stitchy, Marumi Crafts, Crafty Yams. I can't remember all of them. Aya Rosen and Yasmin's Made with Love. And so the chart is still available. You can check out any of those designers' Instagram pages. This is, again, a charity chart. I forget the organization that I sent I know it's Doctors Without Borders. It's for Palestinian Children Relief Fund, I think. Is that Palestinian? Yeah, something to that effect. I've said it before, the poem that is around this piece just hits hard every time I read it. And especially given the news, you know, of necks, if you don't see others as humans, you don't deserve to be called one. That's basically the gist of that. And even more so. So here we go. I know last time, or that evening, I want to say I finished out more of the border and then all of this inside. And it doesn't look like much, but that was definitely an evening's worth of stitching. This is going to be a big, decent sized piece. I think the frame itself is like 12 by 12, so there's a lot of stitching to it, but I love it. I love the fabric that I chose for it, and definitely just need to spend more time on it. This is stitched on 16 count Bestitch Me in Ledger. And I like the contrasting modeling on this piece. So this is my Grief Knows No Bounds. Definitely need to spend more time on that as well. Moving right along. Should keep my iPad a little handier, huh? And this is where apologies that I did not have this set up better. This was another piece that I picked up for a prompt from Laura's I Spy Challenge. And I don't remember what that one was for. I know Whip Warriors categories, I used it for dress. I don't remember what all I was using it for. But we are looking at Lady Halloween, Jardin Privé. I love this piece. And I'm not going to unfold the material because that's as far as we've got. This is stitched on a piece of 16 count Bestitch Me in Rainy Day. I love this material as well. When I just put in a whole bunch of black on, it was a Saturday a couple weeks ago, basically from like here down, just all of the black. Got that big motif done. There's going to be a flower inside. Yeah, you can see that there's some pops of purple being added in there. This is charted as either using 3 different colors or monochromatic. I am basically doing monochromatic, but then I'm adding some pops of DMC 154 throughout. So adding in, like, basically, I think I'm starting with the flowers. It is not necessarily a 1-for-1 symbol-wise, just kind of throwing in some purple. It's in the right light, you can see the purple, but it's really blending in pretty well with that black, but I think it looks pretty good. Love working on that piece as well. All right, my next piece. If you've been here before, you've been seeing it every week since the first of this year. This is my Gilmore Girls, no, Gilmore-isms is what it's called. So this is designed from Forbidden Fiber. So the frames were released at once, and then each week we're getting a new drop. So since you saw it last, we got I'm a Big Fat Flincher, if you know the show. If not, there was an episode where they did this living art festival, and so basically members in the community had to dress up as different pieces of statue or artwork, and they had to hold, so that they weren't moving because they were supposed to be part of the artwork. And so Lorelai was being discouraged from participating because in a previous festival she had flinched and she kept denying it. Finally, at the end of the show, she admitted, I'm a big fat flincher. So this one was a beast of a block. This one actually took me all week. With that frame is technically 3 different colors. There's 2 shades of yellow and then like a brown. And then the letters are, like the top row is a different color from the bottom row. And so between, the whole frame, design itself, the outer frame, that one definitely took a lot. And then this past week's was quite simple, which was a much needed break. I actually got this done on Monday, the day it dropped, is Rory is going to Yale. Another episode, again, yeah, that was when she announced that she was going to go to Yale instead of Harvard. So I'm loving this piece. We've got, let's see, this was, what is that, block 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, so block 8, block 9. So this Monday's is going to be a super narrow box. I can't wait to see what's going to be in that because it's going to be so much smaller. So we're going to have a total of 13 drops, I believe. So we've got 8 so far. This is stitched on a piece of 16 counts. I was going to say Fiber on a Whim, but it's Forbidden Fiber Co. in their color Casablanca. I did spoil myself with the overdyed flosses and material, the whole kit. And the next piece. This is going quicker than I kind of thought it might. So this is a piece that I am doing as a like divided up and conquer. I started this back in like July or August of last year with plans to get it finished, and at the rate I'm going, I should be able to have it finished in July of this year. So this is Halloween Quaker from Leila's Studio. If I hold it in, you can see the red lines. That's just me drawing around the picture to break it up as far as, you know, each month portion. So this, it's not gonna be able to zoom in. What are we doing here? Okay, go away. So the portion that I'm working on is right up here in this corner. So I've got, there's a little yellow doodad over there, the bird, and then this flower. Sad to say, I do not have my portion finished this month because I ran out of floss. Which is crazy that the pattern specified multiple skeins of other colors that I'm like, I'll be surprised if I at least need more skeins of some of those, but this color specifically only called for 1 skein and I'm out. So here's where we are at so far. I'm loving this piece. Michelle Bendy has started her Quaker Zooms again, which was so funny. I had to send her a screenshot of it. When she had started her Quaker Zooms, basically she was focusing on this piece, wanting to get it done, and so to kind of help motivate her along, she started hosting Zooms where you stitched on anything Quaker, and we sat and chatted for a couple hours. And then, you know, life got busy and she went to school or went for her master's and everything. And so the Zooms fell off, which is fine, you know, life. And so then Michelle decided to start them back up again. And I hopped on and was able to work on this piece that night. Oh, so what I was saying was my time hop from the date that we had this Zoom, which was February 13th, was the day that I had started this piece on a Quaker Zoom with her because I was joining her in with those. And so it was me starting this piece 3 years to the day that she scheduled her next. It was the first one in, you know, a couple of years. And so I just thought that was really cool. Had to send it to her because how fitting that she had scheduled. She had no clue when she set the date. It was just what fit her schedule. And so I had to share that we were meeting again 3 years later. And so this was the anniversary of that piece. So what would that have been, 2021? And so I'm definitely ready to get this piece done. So since seeing it last, I did the yellow doodad there. On the Zoom itself, I got through most of this. I had to finish up the bird afterwards and then the flower, and you can see where I ran out of floss. Womp womp. And with that being an overdyed, I am using the called for Classic Colorworks and the called for DMC 310. That's not something that I can just grab, you know, the DMC equivalent to finish out. You can definitely see the variegation in that. This motif has it as well. I knew when I was stitching on this, I was getting really low, and I just hadn't bought a replacement yet. And I was hoping I could at least get this month's portion finished up before I ran out of floss, but I still have like 4 more petals left to do. So we'll be placing a 1, 2, 3 stitch order here very soon to get a replacement. And I can hope and pray that I get a decent dye lot, that it's not going to be a big change. So my next piece, last piece to share, my focus piece. Are you surprised to hear that I've got another page finish? Every video so far I've had at least one page finish on this piece, and I love it. This is Mini Dark Goddess, artwork by Carol Cavallaris, charted by Heaven and Earth. This is my focus on a finish for 2024. At the rate that I am going, I should see a finish in the month of May. And I started this in 2017, so this is my oldest full coverage piece. It's time to see a finish on this one. 16 count white Aida, 2 strands full cross, as I do all of my full coverage. So since you saw it last, I finished out the page here and then went ahead and dove into the next page there. I am currently sitting at, I want to say, just under 62% total finish of the piece. So we've got to finish out that row, and then there's going to be another row of like regular size pages plus a small, the bottom row. So basically when I get over here, I'm going to be working the last 2 rows of pages at the same time, because the last row is not a full section. So yeah, there is my Mini Dark Goddess. Those flowers are looking so pretty. So if you follow me on Instagram by chance, you can find me there at StitchingBee82. You would have seen that I've shared a page finish on that. Like, it has been pretty much every 2 weeks or so that I'm getting a page finish on that. So I'm not mad about that. Definitely ready to see that one finished. You know, it's one of those things that I'm definitely enjoying working on it, just my oldest piece. I'm ready to have it done. So, plans to get back to Dark Goddess. Basically is what it's coming down to. I'm not one to really plan. I know a lot of people like to have set ideas of what they want to get done and stitched, and you know, it's great, and I love watching people come up with the plans and everything of that nature. When it comes to me, I am very much of the stitch what you want, sweet wee life. Stitch what you want when you want. So a little bit of haul. I placed an order for some needle minders. This sign is new as well. Yes, it's going to be quite reflective. I was walking through it, so I've got 2 of these now. This is now my 3rd one, and my collection is continuously growing. Different signs like these, that they're just a metal sign, magnetic, so that I can add these to it and add my needle minders. The 2 that I've had are full, and so I've been, you know, those Michael's metal carts that you see everyone having, craft carts and that. They're like 3 tiers. I've been sticking them to that because I need something metal to attach, you know, the magnets to. And so I was walking through the dollar store the other day, so just Dollar Tree, and they had these here. They had a few different shapes of them. I'm like, that'll be perfect. So we got that, and then the needle minders. My favorite place to get needle minders from is Gina's Unique Needle Minders, I think is what it's called, on Facebook. There's an Etsy shop of, our business card here, Unique, I think it's Gina's Unique Needle Minders, or boutique or something, on Etsy. But I usually get them from her Facebook page. Every so often she'll post, just like on a Saturday afternoon, she'll post a bunch of them, and you just me please, and then she invoices you. So these are the newest ones I got. So I got the Cardinal, just really pretty. This one was since I ordered, so as you can see, I really like cross stitching and dogs is what this one is. I had originally ordered the one and cats because have you met stitches? These things are $3. It wasn't worth it to point out that I got the wrong one. My sister likes dogs. I'm not against dogs, just I have a cat. So I'll probably actually just pass it on to my sister. She appreciates needle minders. We got a Grumpy Stitches St. Patty's Day. And then the bottom one is My Soul is Fed with Needle and Thread. So, very true. Very reflective sign. So those are my fun new needle minders. I went to Michael's the other day I had a voucher that needed to be used before it expired, and I needed floss like we always do. I was able to get all the floss that I needed for Grief Knows No Bounds because I had pulled from stash what I needed or what I had and still had a whole bunch. Well, to get enough to use the voucher, I needed more. I ended up spending plenty. Anyways, I like the DMC scissors that they sell, so you can tell the pretty colors there. These are my favorite scissors. These are the ones that I use most regularly, so they're more of a purple. These are definitely getting dull. I've heard that you can use like cut through tin foil, like aluminum foil, and it'll sharpen them up. I haven't done that yet, so those are getting dull. So I figured, well, I can always use new scissors, so I got a set of those. And then all of that floss, I ended up getting some scrapbook paper, cardstock specifically, to be able to make my ATC. So I spent plenty. Okay, so the rest of what I have to share is, so a family friend was a stitcher and she's passed, and so they're going through her craft stuff, and you know, kind of, we had an option of taking stuff that we think that we'll use or want to stitch or something of that nature. And so I claimed some stuff from her stash that will eventually maybe possibly get stitched. So first one is the series of Stony Creek. Every so often they do these free series where you get the chart for free, you just have to pay shipping. I know I've done some other Halloween ones that basically, to make it the $3.95 worth shipping worth, I would add this to a cart that I'm already buying. So but this is one of those, so it's all 3 charts. You can stitch them individually like it shows on the front, or you can stitch it all as one. So, you know, the infamous live, love, laugh, but it's live every moment, laugh every day, love beyond words. And I just think that's really pretty. And so, I did see that the frame is still available. So I do have all of those, and Sandy had started getting like the floss for it and that. I have 2 of the 3 tiny beads. So this is a ladybug, a couple ladybugs, and a couple of tiny bees. The ones that I don't have is for this one right here. It's going to be the flowers, so the little teeny whites. And then, like I said, the bees, and then ladybugs. So I have a couple of those, and the flosses to, some of the flosses to go for those. Try to keep some of this together. I am on my lunch break, so trying to pay attention to the time. And then, so that was, these charts are still available. You just have to pay for them now. January, so it was December, January, and then February of 2015 to 16. I did see the other day, because the next couple that I have are incomplete at the moment of what she had on hand, and so they are still available. You just have to pay for them. The series that's going on right now is some kind of flower or something or other. I don't know what it was. So those are from August and September of 2018, so Halloween. So I've got those 2. So this one is the ingredients for a horrific Halloween. So yeah, there's what all of that looks like. So I've got 2 of the, what is that, 4, 6? 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 2 of the 6 of this one. And then this one was from 2020. I've got 2 of another, this is the Ghost and Goblins banner. So I've got those. Look at that witch. I love Stony Creek patterns. And so there's a few of those. Who knows if and when I'll ever stitch any of these. They're stashed though. Shoes for all seasons, another, an Ursula Michael from Imaginating. I love anything from this Imaginating. Not anything. There's a lot out there that I really love from this Imaginating. Look at that witch's boot. Flip-flops. So who knows? They'll make a good bookmark if you can definitely stitch individually or combine them as one. So something like that probably would make a good bookmark. And then the last thing to share is definitely exciting because I didn't have one, and making sure that my sister didn't want it, I had to snag it. The DMC floss card. So this is just the older one that just has the floss colors. It's not the like actual floss samples or whatever, but I mean, I know these go for a pretty penny, so I was happy to add it to my stash. So we got the DMC card, and that's really it. So Stitches is bathing in her cat tree now. That little companion, she's the best. She keeps me such good company around here. So glad we were able to get a little bit of a Stitches sighting for you. So I hope everyone's been getting lots of stitching in. I know it's been a couple weeks, so I hope you've had some good couple weeks. Things here have been, you know, same old, pretty quiet. I'm sure I've gone to a pinball tournament. I know I've got a couple coming up, not this weekend, but actually the next 2 or 3 weekends coming up, we'll have some pinball action going on. So those days tend to not have much stitching done, but I mean, I stitch throughout the week, so I'm not mad about it. It's fun outings and that. But yeah, working, stitching, trying to get through winter. I'm ready for it to be over with, that's for sure. We've had some, looks like, well, we've had some nicer days last few days. Was it last week or the week before? We ended up getting a whole bunch of snow. Most of that is now gone. There's a tiny little patch right out my patio door, but for the most part, all of that snow is gone. So fingers crossed we don't get anything major again. Apparently we're supposed to have an early spring, I guess, according to I'm not even gonna try to say it, Phil, the groundhog. Apparently the Michigan groundhog, though, says that we're gonna have 6 more weeks of winter. So, you know, who can you believe? It's Michigan weather. The day I moved into this apartment was in April 13, 14. It'll be almost 14 years ago now. No, 10, 11 years. Yeah, 11 years. It snowed the day I moved into this apartment in middle of April. So can never trust the Michigan weather around here. It's definitely, you learn to wear layers at certain times of the year. So that's really about it. I'm just rambling. You know, the Michigan bye, you're gonna talk for 45 minutes before you actually walk out the door, right? So, but again, I'm on my lunch, so I should get this wrapped up so that I can go actually figure out some kind of food and get back to my desk here pretty shortly. So I hope you are doing well. I hope you're getting lots of stitching in. Feel free to share what you're stitching on today, and yeah, keep stitching what brings you joy, and we'll see you again soon.